Alright, so now I'm going to cover NoFollow, and I'm going to go over four things. I'm going to explain what it is and how it got started. I'm going to show you what it looks like in the code of a website. I'm going to show you how other websites are using it, and I'm going to go over some tips and common misconceptions. So NoFollow is basically a very small piece of code that you can add to a link on a website that tells Google and other search engines to ignore the link as far as calculating its importance when the search engines are trying to figure out how to rank websites. So it was first introduced by Google back on January 18th of 2005 is when they first wrote about it on their blog. And back at that time, a lot of spammers had caught on to the fact that you need to get a lot of links to your website to be ranked well in Google and other search engines. And they also found that an easy way to get good links was to basically do comment spam, which means go to the comments section of a blog or an online newspaper or any other website that allows comments and just put in a bunch of spammy links to your website. Now, what would happen is these websites would get more sophisticated, and they would basically write software programs that could go around to thousands or hundreds of thousands of different websites and just enter these links into the comments section of blogs automatically. So there's no human effort, and they were able to get a lot of links and rank very highly. Now, obviously, this is bad for Google and Yahoo and Bing because it results in them ranking websites they don't want to rank, and it's bad for bloggers because now they have to deal with all these spam comments that nobody wants to deal with. So they introduced the attributes NoFollow, and it was really quickly adopted by all the major blogging platforms, and Yahoo and Bing basically updated their algorithm to account for the attribute and kind of copy Google and started also paying attention to NoFollow. So let's take a look at what it looks like exactly. So I've got a link here that you might see in the code of a website. We've got our ahref. If you're not familiar with coding, you don't need to worry about that, what that means. Then we've got the actual website address itself right here. And then we've got this attribute called rel NoFollow, and that's exactly what it looks like. It's just rel equals NoFollow, no spaces, within the quote marks. And then we've got our anchor text, which is the text that actually appears on the website. None of, oops, sorry about that. Let's undo. None of any of this would actually show up on a website. You would just see the CNN. So if we went and let me bring this down. If this is what you would actually see on a website, it wouldn't look, the link itself would not look any different whether it was NoFollowed or not. And you can just hover your pointer over it and click on it. It's going to work just the same as it would for any other link. The only difference is that the search engines aren't going to pay attention to this link when figuring out their algorithms around how to rank websites. Alright, so let's go take a look at how some popular sites are using this. And right now I am on the blog Mashable. Let me scroll up to the top here. So yeah, there you go, Mashable, social media, Mashable.com. It's a really popular website that uses the blogging software WordPress. And I went ahead and I added a comment down here. This is my pseudonym, Dave Griffin. I just said, do shy users even exist anymore in the age of Facebook? And I linked to Facebook. Now I just typed in www.facebook.com. I didn't actually type in the code. So let's look at the code and see what Mashable does with all of its links. I'm just going to go right click and then view page source. And I'm going to do a search for let's see, what was the text again? It was shy users. Okay. Okay, here we go. So let me bring this up. So here is the text of my comment. Do shy users even exist anymore in the age of? And then there's our ahref, and there's the link to the website. And then we've got, rel, NoFollow. And then there's the anchor text that's actually showing up on the website. So basically, anytime you are adding a comment to a blog based on WordPress or pretty much any other popular blogging software, you see automatically the NoFollow pops in. The link is worthless to search engines, and there is no way to disable that as a user. If you really want to get tricky, the people who own the blog could make some updates to their blogging software to get rid of that automatic no following, but there really isn't any reason to do that. Now, another popular website that is well known for its use of nofollow tags is Wikipedia. So here I'm on the Wikipedia page for search engine optimization. I'm going to scroll to the bottom where they have some outbound links that go to other websites. So here in their footnotes section, we see they've got a link. Let's find an easy one. How about this one? Brian Pinkerton, finding what people want experiences with a web crawler. So again, I'm going to go right click and then view page source. Okay, I'm going to search for finding what. Alright, we already found it here. We've got, let me slide this over a little bit. So we've got here's our A. Actually, they've done this a little bit differently. What they've done is they've got the href down here, but they've got their nofollow tag before the actual link to the website. But basically, this is just trying to show you an example. The link is nofollowed, and Wikipedia adds nofollow automatically to all of the outbound links on its website, and there's no way to change that. So don't bother wasting your time trying to get a bunch of links on Wikipedia that point to your page as a way of ranking well in the search engines, because it's just not going to happen. So just to make one thing really clear, let's just go to google.com for a second here. So it's not just the page rank that doesn't get passed on. There's just nothing of value that gets passed on when you use the nofollow. There's no anchor text being passed on, as well as no page rank being passed on. Alright, so now let's talk about how to use nofollow on your website. And one of the first misconceptions I'd like to cover is the idea of page rank sculpting. It's this idea that you have a certain amount of page rank flowing into your website, and you need to be careful about how to spread it around the different parts of your site. For example, you might make money on you might make a lot of money on a certain page of your website, so you want that one to rank really well. So some people would suggest that you nofollow a lot of the links to other portions of your website, so that all the page rank flows to that one page where you make a lot of money. Now that worked for a really long time, from about January 2005, when Google first introduced nofollow, until an update that they made in the middle of 2009. And a lot of people, I guess they didn't get the memo, so that idea that this whole page rank sculpting thing can work by using nofollow is something that a lot of people don't quite understand or haven't gotten the message. So whenever there's kind of a controversial topic, I like to turn it over to a Google engineer to shed some light. So now I'm going to show you a short video of Matt Cutts. He's a senior engineer at Google in charge of search engine quality, and you can hear from him.
So let me just say it a little more clearly. I would not use nofollow on internal links. The reason is, PageRank comes into your site, it flows throughout your site based on the links that you have on your site. If you add nofollow on your internal links, that's causing those links to drop out of the link graph. They don't flow PageRank anymore. So instead of the PageRank flowing around naturally on your site, suddenly some of it just sort of evaporates or disappears. So at least for the links within your own site, I would almost always make sure that they flow PageRank. That is, don't put NoFollow on those links.
All right, so there you have it. Now, another misconception is that you need to put NoFollow on any affiliate links or any paid links on your websites. Especially for the affiliate links or any AdSense or anything like that, you don't need to worry about it. Google has already figured out how to ignore affiliate links or other text links on your website. So it's not something you have to worry about. Google is never going to penalize you because you didn't because you failed to NoFollow a link that was kind of actually an advertisement. And so the last tip is let's talk about ways NoFollow links can actually be useful. One example would be if you leave an interesting and useful comment on another blog that happens to be really popular, and then people find your site through that link, even though you didn't get any search engine optimization credit, you still will get traffic. So that's one way NoFollow links can still help you.